Ever get that weird feeling you're being watched? You know, that little prickle on the back of your neck when you're absolutely sure you're alone, but somehow you're not? Well, spoiler alert, in our increasingly connected world, that feeling might not just be paranoia. It could be, and stick with me here, the government. Yes, the same people who can't seem to fix a pothole without a 6-month committee meeting might actually be surprisingly good at keeping tabs on you. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? The idea that your private conversations, your internet searches, even your questionable late-night food orders could be fodder for some unseen observer. This isn't a dystopian movie plot. It's a growing reality we need to talk about, preferably before our smart speakers start giving us unsolicited life advice based on our whispered fears. The concept of government overreach isn't new. History is littered with examples of powerful entities deciding they know best, often at the expense of individual freedoms. But today, the tools at their disposal are unprecedented. Surveillance technology, vast data collection capabilities, and legal frameworks that can sometimes feel more like Swiss cheese than a solid wall of protection. It's time to get informed, get engaged, and maybe, just maybe, reclaim a bit of that personal space we're all entitled to. All right, let's talk about illegal surveillance. This is when the government or someone acting on its behalf decides the rules don't apply to them. We're talking about listening to your calls without a warrant, reading your emails without proper authorization, or tracking your movements in ways that would make a stalker blush. The illegal part is key here. There are supposed to be laws, procedures, and judicial oversights in place to prevent this sort of thing. But, and this is a big but, these safeguards are sometimes ignored, bypassed, or creatively reinterpreted until they're about as effective as a chocolate teapot. It's a fundamental breach of trust and a direct assault on your right to privacy. Intimidation often goes hand in hand with illegal surveillance, or even the of it. If people believe they might be monitored, they are less likely to speak freely, to associate with certain groups, or to challenge authority. This is what's known as a chilling effect. It's a subtle but powerful form of control. It's about creating an atmosphere where dissent is discouraged and conformity is subtly enforced. Now let's talk about technology. Oh, glorious technology. It gives us cat videos, instant communication with anyone on Earth, and refrigerators that can tell you when you're out of milk. Fantastic! But here's the rub. Every piece of smart technology, every app, every online service you use is also a potential peephole for someone else. Your smart toaster, while diligently browning your bread, might also be collecting data about your breakfast habits. And while that seems trivial, multiply that by every smart device in your home, your car, and on your person. Suddenly, you're living in a data goldmine, and not all the miners have your best interests at heart, especially when the government wants a peek. The erosion of liberties in the digital age is insidious because it's often disguised as convenience or progress. Facial recognition technology, for instance, can help find missing persons. Great, but it can also be used to track protesters, identify individuals in public spaces without their consent, and build massive databases of citizens' faces. The very tools that empower us can also be used to monitor and control us with an efficiency that would make old-school dictators green with envy. Our desire for the latest gadget might be inadvertently paving the road to a less free future. So how does the government manage to do all this snooping and prodding without, constantly getting sued into oblivion? Well, one of the neatest tricks is how laws are interpreted or sometimes misinterpreted to justify actions that seem on their face a bit much. It's like a magician's sleight of hand. You're looking at the Constitution, thinking you're protected, but then a clever legal argument appears, and suddenly your rights have vanished. Often this involves stretching the meaning of existing laws or exploiting loopholes that were never intended to allow for mass surveillance or broad infringements on liberty. It's a slow, steady process of legal gymnastics. Vagueness in legislation is another brilliant tool for overreach. Section 5. Color of law, when authority abuses its badge, and not in a fun way. Let's dive into a rather important legal term, color of law. It sounds a bit like a paint swatch for a police station, doesn't it? Should we go with authoritarian azure or bureaucratic beige? But no. Color of law refers to an act done by an official who is appearing to act in their official capacity using the authority given to them by their position, but is actually misusing that power or acting illegally. Essentially, it's when someone with a badge or a government title does something they're not supposed to do, but they do it under the guise of their job. It's a serious abuse of power, and it's a direct route to violating your rights. The implications of someone acting under color of law are significant because it means the government itself, or at least its representative, is the one breaking the rules. This isn't just a private citizen doing something wrong. This is an agent of the state overstepping their bounds. Section 6. Your constitutional oopsies. Common ways rights get trampled. All right, let's talk about your constitutional rights. These are supposed to be the bedrock of your freedoms, the things the government absolutely positively cannot mess with. Except, well, sometimes they do. There are several amendments in the U.S. Bill of Rights that are particularly vulnerable to government overreach, and it's worth knowing what they are so you can spot an oopsie when it happens to you or someone else. The First Amendment is a popular target. It protects your freedom of speech, religion, the press, assembly, and to petition the government. Section 7. Fight back. Legally, of course. It's not about being confrontational. It's about being informed and assertive. The first thing to remember is that you have rights. They are fundamental protections you are entitled to. Knowing this can make a huge difference in how an encounter unfolds. During any encounter with law enforcement, for example, you have the right to remain silent. This is your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. You are not obligated to answer questions, especially those that might incriminate you. Section 8. Fortifying your digital castle. Practical tech defenses against prying eyes. In our hyper-connected world, a significant front in the battle for personal liberty is digital. Your phone, your computer, your online accounts. They're all potential gateways for surveillance. So, just as you'd lock your front door, you need to take steps to secure your digital life. Think of it as building a digital fortress, or at least putting up some decent digital barbed wire. One of the most effective tools you can use is encryption. Use apps that offer end-to-end encryption for your messages and calls. This means only you and the person you're communicating with can read the messages, not even the company providing the service, and certainly not a casual snooper. Another key defense is a virtual private network, or VPN. A VPN creates an encrypted tunnel for your internet traffic, masking your IP address and making it much harder for anyone, your internet service provider, advertisers, or government agencies, to track your online activities back to you. Section 9. Conclusion. The price of liberty is eternal vigilance and maybe fewer smart fridges. So, there you have it. Government overreach isn't some shadowy monster lurking only in dystopian novels. It's a real ongoing challenge to our fundamental rights, often creeping in under the guise of security or convenience. From illegal surveillance that chills free speech to the subtle erosion of privacy through technology, the threats are multifaceted. We've seen how laws can be twisted, how authority can be abused under the color of law, and how easily our constitutional protections can be sidelined if we're not paying attention. It's a sobering picture, and it would be easy to feel overwhelmed, perhaps even a little bit like just giving up and letting the smart toaster win. But here's the thing. Despair is not a strategy. The entire point of understanding these threats is to empower ourselves to counteract them. Knowing your rights during an encounter with authority, taking practical steps to secure your digital life, supporting organizations that fight for civil liberties. These are not small actions. They are vital contributions to preserving a free society.